From April of this year, the National Energy Regulator of South Africa approved Eskom's allowable revenue from standard tariff customers to be increased by 15% for direct Eskom customers, with an estimated increase of just over 17% for the supply of electricity to all municipalities. To talk to me about the impact that the electricity prices are having on businesses, I'm joined now by the President of SMME Forum, Mr. Tebogo Khaas. Mr. Khaas, good to have you with us this afternoon on the Daytime Update. Have businesses started feeling the pinch from this increase?
Yes, indeed. And you would imagine that the timing is also not very good, considering that the economy has just been struggling for the past 2 years now, or more than 2 years, because we have been experiencing hardships even before the pandemic arrived or hit us. And the increases that we've seen of 15 to 17% are not very helpful insofar as businesses, and especially small businesses, are concerned. And if you look at it, actually, for the past 10 years, the rate of increase has been over 177% of electricity tariffs. So the effect thereof is not very helpful, considering that the economy is also stagnant.
Eskom is the primary power producer and supplier for the nation. What options do SMMEs have, and even normal consumers?
Very little. As you rightly put, Eskom has the monopoly in terms of power generation and transmission and selling of power in most instances. And obviously, in some instances, yes, the municipalities do come in and provide the electricity, but municipalities as agents also are not very helpful at all, because they also add their own surcharges, and NERSA does allow them to actually go up to 90 or even 100%, I'm not too sure, but at least 90% they can put a surcharges on the actual electricity that municipalities sell to end users, including small businesses. So it is not something that we really believe ought to be taking place, at least at this juncture where the hardship are so deep and pervasive.
Have you had any of the SMMEs that are part of your forum perhaps complain about this, and what type of effect has this actually had on their businesses?
Look, it affects SMEs very differently. Those that rely on power for manufacturing, for example, would feel the pinch much more than those who use electricity minimally. Maybe just to use for lights or running their computers. So those who use electricity very less. But those who do rely on electricity to run their equipment, whether it's for welding or other fabricating industries, they certainly will feel the increase very much. And it has, unfortunately, will have an unintended consequence that people will find alternative ways to still have access to electricity outside the grid, which is something that is regrettable and we don't encourage.
There is the illegitimate way that you don't encourage, that you spoke about, but now with the restrictions being lifted as far as the independent power producers are concerned, and them given a go-ahead in many respects, are there a lot of SMMEs that would be willing to go off the grid by adopting power from the independent power producers?
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day is the input cost. If the input cost of electricity is down, it doesn't matter who supplies it, whether it's from clean energy or the IPPs, as you mentioned them, or from Eskom. I don't think it really matters. What would matter most is whether they can get it cheaply. Yes, the decision to license the alternative suppliers of electricity is welcome, is most welcome, but that on itself is going to take a while before such electricity comes into the grid or it becomes widely available. So at the moment, it doesn't help much because we're still waiting to see that happen. And and at what price point such electricity will still be able to be sold or made available to small traders or businesses.
And what are the implications of this escalated electricity prices on businesses as well as consumers?
The immediate impact or effect of it is, one, prices are going to rise. So it's going to have a knock-on effect on inflation. So it's going to have an inflationary impact on the economy, because small businesses or businesses in general will have to increase their pricing to also make sure that they can absorb the price increases via electricity. And secondly, it's going to make businesses, and more especially small businesses, uncompetitive globally and even locally. Globally in the sense that those countries who are able to manufacture using cheap electricity or at a very low cost base, they're going to be able to price their goods very cheaply compared to local businesses or local SMEs. Therefore, you're going to see an increase, a continued increase on alternative sourcing of goods or products from other countries. And some of it will be coming through counterfeit, or some of them will just be legitimate through excess ports. But the long and short of it all, the comparative advantage that we used to have many years ago, where South Africa used to be able to supply cheap electricity, have been decimated, if not eroded completely, because now we're at the behest of ever-increasing input costs, in this instance of electricity.
Is there a danger of some of the smaller businesses not really being able to weather the storm and actually having to shut down because of these really high input costs?
Look, this is just a perfect storm. If anything could go wrong, nothing would, because there is no reprieve or any, tangible relief that small businesses have been getting or have received from government for various causes, including COVID, the lockdowns and the recent upheavals. So electricity increases itself is just going to have adverse impact on small businesses, and unfortunately, some of them have reached the end of the tether, and they're going to, if anything, in most instances, some of the price increases may very well be the straw that broke the camel's back, and some may be forced to shut up permanently, and therefore you're going to see more jobs being lost and the unintended consequences of livelihoods being affected as well.
And as you said, Mr. Khaas, this couldn't have happened at a worse time, with the effects of COVID-19 still being experienced in the country and also affecting SMMEs. We thank you very much for your time and your insight there. That's the President of SMME Forum, Mr. Tebogo Khaas, on the impact that the escalating electricity prices are having on businesses, as well as the knock-on effect that will have on consumer pricing.